Date back. If something dates back to a certain time, it was made at that time or it started at that time. Date from. If something dates from a certain time, it was made at that time. Dawn on. If something dawns on you, you realize it, or become aware of it, for the first time. Deal in. 1. To buy and sell something in order to make money. Deal in. 2. If you say, deal me in, it means you want to join in an activity. Deal with. If you deal with a problem or a difficult situation, you do what needs to be done to solve or resolve it. Decide against. To decide not to do something you were thinking of doing, or not to choose something or someone you were thinking of choosing. Decide on. If you decide on something, you choose one thing from among two or more possible options. Delight in. If you delight in doing something, you get a great deal of pleasure from doing it. Delve into. To try to find information by examining something thoroughly. Depend on. 1. If one thing depends on another, it cannot happen without the other, or it is greatly affected by the other. Depend on. 2. If you depend on someone, you rely on him to give you what you need. Describe as. To say that something is a certain kind of thing or that someone is a certain type of person. Deter from. To make someone less likely to do something, or to discourage someone from doing something. Devote to. To decide to spend a certain portion of your time or money on something. Die away. If a sound dies away, it gradually gets softer and softer. Die down. If something dies down, it gradually becomes weaker in strength or lower in volume or magnitude. Die off. If a group of people, animals, or plants dies off, all of them die over a period of time and none are left. Die out. If something like a species of animal or a language is dying out, it is disappearing and could soon be lost forever. Dig in. To start eating with enthusiasm, or gusto. Dig up. If you dig up something, you get it from under the ground by digging. Dip into. To take money from an amount that has been saved or put aside for a specific purpose. Dish out. 1. To give things to people, often without thinking about the effects or the costs of doing so. Dish out. 2. If you dish out something like criticism or advice, you give it often and without much thought. Dispose of. To get rid of something you don't need or don't want anymore. Divide up. If you divide something up, you separate it into smaller parts so that everyone gets a share. Do about. If you do something about a problem, you do something to fix it or solve it. Do away with. 1. If you do away with something, you get rid of it. Do away with. 2. To kill or to murder somebody. Do in. To cause someone to feel very tired or worn out. Do up. 1. If you do up an old building, car, boat, etc., you make it look new again by repairing it, painting it, and so on. Do up. 2. If you do up a zip, a button, or a shoelace, you secure it in some way. Do with. 1. To put something somewhere. Do with. 2. To make use of something. Do without. If you do without something, you manage to get by without it. Doze off. If you doze off, you fall asleep without meaning to. Drag on. To continue for longer than seems necessary or usual. Draw on. To use part of a supply of something, or to utilize something that has been gained over time. Draw out. To make something last longer than usual or longer than necessary. Draw up. To prepare and write a plan, a contract, guidelines or a list of some sort. Dream of. If you dream of something you'd really like to be, to do, or to have, you imagine it becoming a real part of your life. Dream up. To imagine something like a plan or a story in great detail. Dress up. If you dress up, you put on formal clothes for a special occasion. Drive away. To cause someone or something to leave a place. Drive off. To leave in a car. Drive out. To force someone or something out of a place. Drop by. To make a short, casual visit somewhere. Drop in. If you drop something in somewhere, you stop to leave it there and then keep going. Drop off. 1. To drive someone to a place they need to go to and leave them there. Drop off. 2. To fall asleep. Drop off. 3. To become fewer in number or less in amount or intensity. Drop out. To leave a course of study before completing it. Drown out. If a sound is drowned out, it can't be heard because of an ever louder sound. Drum up. To stimulate something like support for a project, enthusiasm for an idea, or sales for a business. Dry up. If something like water or oil dries up, or its source dries up, it means it's all gone and there is none left. Dumb down. To make something like a movie or a novel easier to understand so more money can be made from it. Dwell on. If you dwell on something bad or unpleasant, you think about it too much or you talk about it too much. Dying for. If you're dying for something, you really feel like it or you want it very much.